Hello, Jessica Mcilveen here from Kids Yoga Therapy, and I wanted to have a chat with the foster carers out there, the parents of children that have experienced trauma, and parents of certain special needs that cause some quite disturbing, heightened behaviours and situations. So there is a man called Dr. David Ziegler, and he really provides an easy way for us to consider behaviours. So he calls them emotional disturbances, and it does make a lot of sense, and it gives us a theory that's tangible so that we can work with these children a lot better. So the one that I wanted to mention in this short episode is the explosive type. So as the name suggests, these children are incredibly explosive, okay? Name says it all. These are the children that are well known to the principal, unfortunately, are possibly don't have many friends due to the explosive behavior. They're often considered angry children, disruptive children, scary children, dangerous children, because their behaviors are just so unpredictable. And what we need to understand about this is how that's working for these children. So what's happening is that when we're dealing with children that have experienced abuse and neglect or other types of trauma, okay, their world during the day is experienced as a lot of pressure. Okay, so we've got compounding pressure throughout the day, and it's building and building throughout every day, okay? And of course, what's going to happen when there's too much pressure is that the child is just going to explode. And these are the behaviors that you see where they're throwing things, or they're yelling and screaming, they're destructive, they're going crazy in their environment, in their world, and they can't be calmed down or settled. So this is the explosive eruption that we see from these children. And what's important to understand is that when this is happening in your home, or when this is being directed at you, for the lack of better words, it's not really being directed at you. So these children often will only allow people they trust to see these really scary outbursts, okay? And, if you get a teacher and they say to you that your child is so well behaved at school, they're a great student, and you're wondering, why on earth is my child not being that way at home? Well, it's because they don't feel safe enough to show that authentic side of them within the classroom or within the school. And just another compounding area of pressure, okay? And when they get home, possibly it's just too easy for them to explode. They're so overwhelmed with all of this emotional pressure. So how does this work then? How can we help children? Well, we need to understand that children don't know naturally how they're meant to release this pressure. It's a learnt skill. So these children that have experienced abuse and neglect, they've learnt, unfortunately, that the only way to release this built up emotion is to explode. Okay, all they want is for that calm and peaceful sensation that they feel straight after an explosion. And if you notice, and maybe the next time you see it, just notice how calm, peaceful, and clear your child is after one of these explosions. And really, that's the time to get in there and have a really authentic, beautiful, deep, connected conversation with your child, because they are feeling the most clear during that point, with a lot of love. So they've learnt that, and it's constantly reinforced. Every time they explode, they feel calm. They explode again, they feel calm. So this is being reinforced time and time again. And what we need to be doing as the adults, we need to be helping them identify some other methods that will release this built up emotion and pressure without needing to do the explosive behaviors. So for us, for me, I know that what helps me when the pressure is starting to build a little bit, I'll go for a walk, I'll go and do some yoga, I'll go see my family, spend time with my nephews. I will paint. I have a really varied toolbox when it comes to relieving that pressure, but that's because I've learned. And so when these children are trying to identify what helps them, they need an adult to help them do that. They can't do that on their own, especially when they've been in these destructive environments, and that's the only way it can be done for them. So it needs to be built on success, these strategies. So unless they feel it's successful for them and they feel calm with that strategy, they're not going to remember it and they're not going to do it. So that's why we need to keep working through it and trying different strategies at a time, but always strategies that the children choose for themselves. Okay, so they need to be in control of that aspect, because these children have never had control in their lives and they do need that, which will help reduce that pressure a little bit. So I hope this has given some indication of why these massive explosions occur for these children, and we really need to take the personal out of it. So these explosions are not aimed at you. This is just something that they're just trying to seek that calm and peace that they get after the explosion. That's what they're seeking. And often parents or carers will say to me, why aren't they considering the consequences? And the fact is that the consequences are the last thing on their mind, the absolute last thing on their mind. They've got too many things going on in their little minds, so they're not going to consider them. So I guess for us, we need to be helping identify those strategies. So I'd love to hear if you've been able to do that with your child or children that you care for. And if you wish to discuss it further, then pop your comments in, subscribe, or get in touch with me, and I can definitely help you come up with some strategies that might help. So thanks for joining me today.